United Methodist Church, and I want all of you to know what an honor and a blessing it is that you have chosen this facility to be a very presence here. We are in kind of a rough neighborhood, and we have had some things happen, and when we have called 911, we have had wonderful service, and so I commend you. But what a blessing it's going to be to have officers and the crime victim services here to help us on a daily basis. And so with that, I just thank you. If we can ever do anything to help any of you, we are here to help, and we look forward to building a relationship with all of you and growing together in Christ. Thank you so much for coming, everyone, and now I'll turn it over to Mayor Berger.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Great to be welcomed here at St. Mark's Methodist. And Pastor, thank you for all that you've done in the last months to work with our folks to make this day happen. We have a few announcements today with guests as well. And I want to begin with Chief Martin and his associates at the Lima Police Department for remarks about why we're all here, which is the establishment of this location as our second community police station in the community. So, Chief.
Oh, thank you, Mayor, and good morning. It is, again, one of those occasions that I am extremely happy to be here because we do have another milestone, if you will, that we're being able to meet today. Roughly about a year ago, when the conscious decision was made, because of listening to community input, hearing what the community was saying about, again, those lines of trust, those communication conduits that we had back in the days when we had neighborhood police officers before. They'd long since been severed or broken, and that we just did not have the level of trust and communication that, quite frankly, the community deserves to be able to have in its police department. And in listening to that input, the conscious decision was made to reinvigorate neighborhood policing, to get neighborhood substations open again, and to be able to bring officers back into the neighborhoods, interacting much more directly with the community that we are sworn to protect and to serve. And so now we haven't been exactly able to keep up with the timeline that we had hoped for, and then Lieutenant Green is in just a moment going to talk a little bit about where exactly we are in the timeline and how we're still progressing, but we have been able to keep this whole project moving forward. The concept of neighborhood policing is one that will make our community better and stronger. And so it is with great pleasure today that we are able to announce the opening of our second substation within the city. Pastor Barbara, I'd like it if you could come up here just for a moment.
Sure.
This is just but a very, very small token of our appreciation from the Lima Police Department. This is a challenge coin. And on the one side, it has our logo. On the opposite side, it has our mission statement, which the concept of community policing is very much in keeping with our mission statement, which says the Lima Police Department is committed to excellence. It is our mission to improve the quality of life by working in partnership with the community to creatively solve problems related to crime, the fear of crime, and neighborhood decay, and to protect the constitutional rights of all. And in that mission statement, again, much of what you touched on in your opening remarks about this being a neighborhood with some crime problems, this being a neighborhood where people might even be afraid to show up to church. That is something that we, as our mission, want to work in partnership with the community to be able to help to solve. And there is no better example of partnership that I can think of than the way that you and your staff and your congregation has opened up your facilities to us. And so again, even though this is a very, very small token of our appreciation, I would like to give this to you right now at this time and just say thank you so very much for allowing us to be here.
You're welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Now at this time, I'm going to quit talking so much, and I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Andy Green, because again, it's one of those things where you can either talk to the person that's in charge or you can talk to the people that are really doing the work. In this case, again, that would be Lieutenant Green, who's really done the work on this. So I want to turn this over to him and let him speak a little bit.
Chief. Good morning. I am Lieutenant Andy Green. I am the day shift commander at the Lima Police Department. An additional duty that I have is I am in charge of the community policing unit. So myself and Sergeant Garlock, who is sitting right back over here, who's trying not to be visible, but he is, we have been putting this together and working to get to where we're at today. So we launched our first office over on the east side of town at New Life Assembly Church, and that was in August. And that is staffed by COP Officer Aaron Rohde, who is sitting right over here on the end. He has been working very hard in that neighborhood to work and find out what the problems are that people see in their neighborhood, because frankly, that is what we're trying to focus on. We send patrol officers out every day, and they drive through the neighborhood, and they respond to calls in the neighborhood, but they don't live in that neighborhood most of the time. So they are responding to calls for service. So what we have done is we have put officers out doing community surveys to talk to residents and find out what issues they are actually having in that neighborhood and how we can address those issues. So that's been working very well over on the east side of town, and now we're going to bring that here to this neighborhood. So part of what we are doing is we are building partnerships with other agencies that are going to work with us through this program, the community policing program. I'm going to introduce one person who is part of the partnership as that is working with us, and that is Stephen Jenkins, who is right here. Stephen Jenkins is from Crime Victim Services. He is an outreach coordinator.
Outreach victim advocate.
There it is, outreach victim advocate for Crime Victim Services, and I'll let him explain his role a little bit in this program.
Thank you. The idea is for us to be present in each one of these outposts or substations of the police department, and to rotate around between each of the stations will be my job as we create the ones that we have and go on to create others. It will be a way to be expedient and directly involved with those who may come in and have a need that needs to be addressed, so that we can be able to get them connected with us and what we can do to advocate for them in that court process. Our goal has always been to promote safety, healing, justice, and restitution for those who are victimized. And we'll be targeting anyone who is a victim to help them further, but I'll also be looking for those who have disabilities of any kind to serve them as much as possible, because they're more inclined to be victimized.
Stephen, I would like to give you a challenge coin also.
Thank you.
So the chief already described it, so I won't do that. But
Thank you very much.
we're very excited to
Appreciate
have
it.
you helping us out with this program.
Awesome.
And if he is going to be at this substation, he's going to be spending time at the other substation, and we also have another substation that we are finalizing now that we'll be announcing later, and he will have office space in all of these locations to be able to better connect with the community. So, but I thank you.
Thank you.
So, next, I am going to introduce the COP officer that's going to be assigned to this substation. That would be Officer Eric Miracle. Officer Eric Miracle has worked for the Lima Police Department September of 2000. He's a product of Lima City Schools. He is assigned to First Shift Patrol, where he's been for several years. He is a field training officer. He's received numerous commendations from the Lima Police Department. He has, in the past, worked very closely with youth programs and programs with the city schools. He applied for and was selected to fill this role as a community police officer at this substation. So we're very excited to have him here, and I'm going to let him talk to you for a second.
Well, first I want to thank St. Mark's United Methodist and Pastor Barb for inviting us into their home. They've been absolutely terrific during this process. We're looking forward to getting out in the community, talking to the neighbors, finding out what problems there may be, and finding solutions to solve those problems. I can be contacted on Facebook, cell phone, email. I have an open door policy. There are office hours. Office hours will be Mondays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., and Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Anybody who contacts me, I will get back to you, but we are looking forward to just working with everyone in the community. Thank you.
Well, you know, as Lieutenant Green was introducing Officer Miracle, I was reminded that the original reaction to community-oriented policing, when it was first rolled out in the early 90s, was that it was an approach that would be soft on crime, and that real officers really wouldn't want to be involved in this. In fact, what we discovered with our first efforts at community policing in the 90s, that was established under former Chief Frank Catlett and with the leadership of 2B Chief Greg Garlock, and his son's now very involved in this rendition. Our experience with that was that it was a terrific way to do policing. And the only reason our community ever moved away from it was money. Essentially, the federal money went away, and we found ourselves in a shrinking budget, and it just wasn't possible to sustain. And as Chief Martin mentioned a few moments ago, a very deliberate decision was made in this last budget year to go back to community policing, because we recognize that it's not a luxury. It's an essential approach for us to be able to establish relationships with law-abiding folks in our community and police ourselves. And, you know, when you look at the track record of Officer Miracle, he's a really good cop. He's terrific at what he does, and we're putting a really good cop here to be able to provide the kind of service that we know our community needs. And he becomes then an entree to lots of other resources, including crime victim services and others. So we are very appreciative of the work that's gone into reestablishing this rendition of community policing. The Lima Police Department has a real commitment to this approach, and I appreciate all that has gone into leading to this day and what will follow. Now, I do want to acknowledge we have city councilors here, Todd Gordon from the 1st Ward, Rebecca Crair from the 4th Ward, Ann Miles from the 7th Ward. I see that Ms. Adams, Teresa Adams, was here. She just actually walked out. And I do want to acknowledge former Councilor Bill Moore is also here. So, Bill, it's good to see you as well. With that, we want to move on to a couple of other announcements, and I want to invite, we have another elected official here, and that's Sheriff Sam Crish. And the sheriff's here, along with the chief, to make an announcement about the Coffee with a Cop event coming up this weekend. Sam, come on up. Good morning.
Morning.
Did you bring the coffee?
Yes, I did.
Donuts?
No,
No donuts.
Chief did. Well, since it's election year, I'm only going to take about an hour. Just kidding. First of all, I'd just like to say congratulations to the Lima Police Department for the substations throughout the city. I mean, I certainly think it's a great thing for our city. Probably couldn't ask for better officers to post those, to be working in those substations. Certainly, if there's anything that we can do from the sheriff's office, we certainly want to be involved. So I think it's just a great thing for the city, for the county, and for everyone. So hopefully, and I truly believe it's going to be a success. So again, I just wanted to start that off and say congratulations to Lima Police Department and everybody else who's involved. Which kind of leads right into the Coffee with the Cops, something similar. I mean, it's a great program. You know, it gives the people in the community the opportunity to come out to talk to us. You know, we certainly encourage the people to come out, you know, with everything that's going on just across the country with law enforcement. You know, we got to start building the respect both ways. It's a two-way street. And you know, again, this gives the people in the community the opportunity to come out, ask questions. I truly enjoy doing it. Even, sometimes we don't get very many people, but that's fine. It's just kind of a domino effect. If you talk to one, and then they talk to somebody else, and it just goes on from there. So certainly, if you can put the word out to let people know, we have a lot of different law enforcement agencies that show up. So it's just a great opportunity to meet people, and there's a lot of people that haven't met the chief or myself or other people from the different law enforcement agencies. So again, just want to encourage that, and I certainly enjoy it. Turn it over to the chief.
Well, first of all, the sheriff said something about me bringing the donuts. I just want you to know that since the jokes about cops and donuts are so obvious, we've decided to start calling them power rings.
There you go.
But on a much more serious note, the Coffee with a Cop is part of our community policing efforts. It is, again, an opportunity for the community to come and communicate directly with us. Again, it was input from the community that caused us to move back into neighborhood substations and opening up the substations and assigning specific officers to specific high crime neighborhoods. Because again, that's what people were saying they wanted. They wanted the ability to get to know police officers. They wanted the opportunity to have people that they could directly know and therefore directly trust with the police department. So, it's that kind of input that we need to be able to hear. And I say we, especially with the sheriff and myself and with other police chiefs throughout the county, we need to hear what people are saying. If we're going to be making decisions on how our agencies are run, we can only make the best decisions if we know what the community has to say and if we can listen to the community's input. So I would strongly encourage anyone that is able to make it Saturday morning at McDonald's on Elida Road, 10 to noon. And again, there will be free coffee provided by Jerry Lewis McDonald's. Again, it's a good opportunity for us to be able to have casual conversations and to find out what's on your mind. And so please come out. Thank you.
Very good. Sheriff. So how much is a power ring on the McDonald's menu normally? Terri Averisch is here with the Lima YMCA with some announcements. Terri?
Thank you. I just have a couple things that are going on at the Lima Y and for the community that I'd like to let people know about. We have our 8th annual Father-Daughter Dance is going to be held February 6th from 7 to 9 p.m. It's a great event for fathers and daughters. The girls dress up. The father brings them, and there's a DJ, and it's just a really nice event. We do ask people to bring a baked good, and the cost for the tickets are $2 for members and $5 for non-members, and the whole community is invited. Anyone's invited to that. We also have our Lego League workshop and our robotics starting next week, and we still have some space available. This is a great program for kids interested in science and technology. The Lego League is for grades 1 to 5, and they meet on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday evening. For 5 weeks, it's $12 for members and $22 for non-members, and it's just a really good program to introduce kids to science and technology. And the Robotics League is for high schoolers, 9 to 12th grade, and that kickoff is this Saturday. They're starting their build session. They need a couple more kids. They have some great mentors from Procter & Gamble and from American Trim, and they'd like a couple more kids on the team to really get it going well. So anybody interested in that, again, it's for 9th graders to 12th graders, and it starts next week. So we'd like people to call the Y if they have any questions or interest. We're also starting a fitness challenge and doing a membership promotion at the Y, and Ben Sandrock is our membership director turned health and wellness director, is going to tell you a little bit more about that in a couple of the leagues we have coming up.
Alrighty, so to start off 2016, the Y is doing what is called the Press Play Fitness Challenge. You say, what in the world is Press Play? And we have called it, basically the theme of it is let go of pause and press play. And so starting January 11th, the challenge is to work out 15 times in 5 weeks. And so if you come in and work out 15 times in 5 weeks, you are automatically a winner. And then you're going to get entered into our grand prize, which will be raffled off at the end of it. And it's totally free and it's totally fun. All you have to do is come into the lobby, and we have posters that are lined up, and all you do is write your name. And then every day that you come in and work out, have fun, do whatever you like to do at the Y, you're just going to put a check mark next to your name. It's an honor system, so we want everybody to come in and have fun. And there's lots of activities inside of our lobby. We have this huge banner that goes over all of the different ways to press play. There's like, I don't know, 50 to 100 activities that you can do on there. It goes over everything from dodgeball is coming up. It's everybody can come and play dodgeball. I think everybody enjoyed doing it when we were growing up, and so we're going to be doing that. Volleyball is going to be kicking off in, I believe, 2 weeks, and so there's lots of activities to do. Make sure that you come down, and not only that, are you ready for this? We are waiving our joiner's fee so that you can make it easier to come in and join. And so I don't know that we've ever done this before, so it's an exciting thing. Come down to the Y. It only lasts for January for the joiner's fee, and then the fitness challenge kicks off on the 11th. So we love if you stop by. Thanks.
Thank you. Peggy Ehora from Dominion Gas is here with an update on their pipeline renewal efforts. Good morning, Mrs.
Good
Ehora.
morning, Mayor Berger. I felt certain when I came in here today that all of you came out because you were just waiting to hear what the gas company was doing in January. So I thank you so much for coming. There's just a small part of me that when you see this much law enforcement in one room, you wonder, like, did your past finally catch up with you? You know, you're now out of the witness protection program or something. Anyway, I'm just here to talk about a couple projects that are slated for Lima, one actually beginning Monday, January the 11th, which we call PIR 1961, which is kind of near and dear to my heart. It's a very good year, 1961. It's the year I was born. The project consists of replacing, I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it? It's 55 this year. The project consists of replacing approximately 4,091 feet of bare steel pipe with 2 4/6-inch plastic pipe. It's going to affect approximately 140 customers along 2nd Street, Central Avenue, Hughes Avenue, and St. John's. And the construction crews, this is really important to note, are going to be working Monday through Friday on 10-hour shifts and then 8 hours on Saturday. So you'll have 6 days of traffic interruptions possibly in those areas, and that's always a good thing to know. We have another project scheduled for a few months down the road, which we call North Jackson, and that is replacing about 9,285 feet of pipe along North Jackson Street, North Pine, East Wayne, East Pearl, North Jefferson, Liberty Street, East McKibben, and Finley Road. So that encompasses a lot of that particular neighborhood. It's really kind of appropriate today that we're having kind of a safety conversation about neighborhoods, and safety is very important to us. It's a core value for our company, not just because of the product that we sell, but also for the safety of our customers in a lot of different ways. I always take these opportunities at these press conferences to talk about the things that we need to do when we come out, and we talk a lot about this. There's so many opportunities for scams and frauds, and people are opportunistic as far as, there's an opportunity for me to get in somebody's home. So we always tell folks that our employees and contractors carry these badges with them. They have our logo on them, their picture on them that identifies them as being part of our system. All these projects typically have a gas company vehicle somewhere in the neighborhood that works alongside of those contractors, so there's always an employee of the gas company for you to go out and ask if you have any questions. And the one thing that we were talking about this morning about how much the world has changed, when we start these projects, we try to communicate with our customers in a multitude of ways. We send letters, we make phone calls, and it comes in different phases of those projects to say, okay, we're starting this, or we need access to your house. And we're saying if you look back, and one of the ladies back here said she's lived in her home since 1963, if you've had gas that long with us, you know, our records are that old in terms of what people's phone numbers are and the number of folks that have dropped landlines, and we don't have current numbers. So that's why we use so many ways to communicate with people. We need folks to pay attention to that, not discard letters and discard notices that we leave on your door to say that we're going to be here and we need access to your home. These cards are important for us when we say we need access to your home, because the other part of this is all 140 of these residences, typically in the city and on a low pressure system, their meters are still inside. And as we've been doing these projects throughout the city for the last 7 years, we are moving all of our meters outside for better access for us and better customer service for our customers. So we will need to get in your home. We will be moving your meter from the inside of your home to the outside, and so that entails some visits. So be diligent and don't be afraid to ask questions, and we're always available. And as always, we just thank everybody for your cooperation.
Thanks, Peggy.
Yep.
I had the joy of this project this summer, so, but your folks were very cooperative, and even though the mess in my street was real. I do want to now introduce our in-house comedian, Mike Caprella. Mike used to, he was the first to model the Donald Trump hairstyle until a few years ago.
Oh.
And
Crime victims.
but he's here not to
being victimized.
he's here for some cold weather tips in the utilities department.
Peggy, I was also born in '61, so.
Really?
Okay. But I didn't think everybody came here to see me, because not normally, always I have to go last. And normally people head for the door before I ever get up here, so. And I can understand that, because I'm boring, so, but I'm here today just to give some tips on cold weather that may save you some problems in your home. Looked at the weather this morning, and it looks like we're going to be down in the teens over the next week. We're going to get some warm days, but we're going to get some cold nights. Frost really isn't in the ground yet, but it's starting. And there's just some simple things people can do in their homes that can save them a lot of grief with waterline freeze-ups. And the most simple thing, and I always forget this myself, I've been up here probably 50 times doing this, but your garden hose. Most people don't think to disconnect their garden hose. And most of the outdoor spigots are a self-draining spigot. So if you don't take that garden hose off of there, it sits full of water. It gets real cold, boom, your water line's going to break and you're going to have a problem. So take that hose bib off. Do it on a day like today when the sun's out, and it'll drain out. Also, get down in your basement. If you have a basement, make sure your basement windows are closed. People will have just a crack in the basement window, and it doesn't take much air to get in there, and that's usually where the water lines come running in through the basement. They'll freeze up, and we get calls. If you do these things and you still have a problem, it's too late, and you freeze up, that's when you call us. Don't try to do it yourself. People try it all the time with a torch. People try to thaw their water lines out. Bad thought, bad idea. Happens a lot in mobile homes, and it causes fires. So, never use an open flame. If you've got a freeze up and you have a good idea where it may be and what section of line, a hairdryer works. Take a hairdryer and wave it back and forth. Another important thing is know where your master shutoff valve is at coming into your home. Because if you do have a freeze up and a break, you're going to have a lot of water. It's going to be flowing. It's under pressure. But if most homes have a master valve somewhere right where the water line enters their house. If you know where that's at, you should have everybody in your house also knows where that's at and mark it. Put a tag or something on it. Master valve. So if you would have a leak, at least you can go shut that off, and you can alleviate a lot of the damage that you may have. So, when all else fails, call the city. We have crews. We're on 24/7. We'll have somebody out there to see what the problem is. On a little flip side here, also with the cold weather comes activities at our reservoirs. We encourage people to go out there, sled, have fun, be safe, don't sled out in the road, but we don't like people driving their four-wheelers up and down the banks, and they seem to like to do that a lot of times, and snowmobiles on the banks, those are illegal. And if they're caught doing it, the park rangers patrol, they'll catch them, and it is a violation. Also, last but not least, we never, ever endorse ice fishing on the reservoirs. People like to ice fish. If you do it, you're doing it at your own risk. We don't prohibit it, but we don't promote it. We're always pumping in or taking water out of them reservoirs, and we're doing it under the surface of the ice, so you never know the thickness of the ice. You may go over here and poke a hole, and ice will be 6 inches thick, but over here is where the flow's at, and it may be 2 inches, and you may go through. So be safe, keep your basements dry, and let's hope that El Nino on the West Coast keeps us warm like it's been doing the last couple months. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mike.
Was I last?
You were fine.
Okay, bye.
Very good.
Well, thank you all. We appreciate your time this morning. And to all the folks here at St. Mark's, thank you for your generous hospitality to the COP station and the officers and all the others that will be partnering to make this a vital focus. So thank you. Pastor?
We want to encourage everyone to stay. We have refreshments and get to know each other and just visit for a little while. So we just ask that everyone be safe, and we're just so excited. So thank you for coming, everyone, and God bless.